Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining me on another episode of Yoyo. My name is T. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the very interesting Yoyozhiriz Symphony. So is this yo-yo capable of making great music, or is this one tune that's going to fall flat on deaf ears? So the Yoyozhiriz Symphony is a really interesting yo-yo here. You can see we've got a very nice wide W shape. It's got a nice slope here. You can see it's sloped, angled slightly here. It's not completely a straight line up to this rim, and then it goes out into that traditional flared W. I love the shape of this yo-yo. I haven't seen very many W shapes like this. We'll get into that in a little bit. The cup is quite simple. You have some little minor cuts here going out from these big rims down into a dimple in the center. You also have the Symphony logo and the logo of Yoyozhiriz. The material is 6061. It's quite a nice blasted finish. It feels really nice in the hand. Again, talking about the feel, it's so comfortable. Now, this is something I didn't expect at first, and when I first was playing with it, I wasn't really sure how I was going to feel about the shape, because it is a bit angular. These aren't the most rounded off corners, but they are slightly rounded. And like I said, it is a W shape, but this little slope here really helps with hand feel. It feels incredibly comfortable in the hand. Even despite this wide shape, you can see it's taking up my whole hand here. And the look is really nice. This splash is beautiful. You've got black, and then this yellow-green splash, then this sort of dark teal or this blue-green kind of color. It's a gorgeous yo-yo. This comes in a lot of different splashes, 4 different ones I believe, but this one is just beautiful. For a little size comparison, let's take a look at it next to the Top Yo Colossus 4. So as you can see, the diameters are roughly the same. They're pretty close, but the width is where you see a huge difference. Look at that. The width on these yo-yos is quite different. You can see there's a huge difference between the Colossus 4 and the Symphony. Here it is next to the Top Yo Silenus. You can see again, diameters are pretty close. And actually the width is almost exactly the same here. It's pretty interesting. And I'm pretty sure the Silenus is comparable to the Manatee. So you're looking at a really wide yo-yo here. Here's next to the SF Bliss. You can see, as you put it up here, diameters are roughly the same. Again, the width is where you have a huge difference. So the Symphony is just a really big yo-yo, but we'll get into why I love that in a little bit. Also, I've got it strung up with the Pua Power from Zipline Strings as well. This is one of the spring colors, and you can see it just matches the yellow of the yo-yo, or that whatever that green color is, really nicely. So this yo-yo was sent to me by Yoyozhiriz, which is a yo-yo manufacturing company out of Indonesia. They also operate a store, Osiris, as well, which I've ordered stuff from them before, but it had been a long time since I'd actually heard anything from them. I was really happy to see their store seemed to be doing pretty well since the last time I'd shopped with them. And basically they just hit me up on Instagram and asked if I was interested in taking a look at a yo-yo, and I said I would be very interested. It was really nice of them. Again, like I said, Tokyo Yo is not a business. I'm not in this to make money or to make videos for people. I just am happy when people are interested in sending me stuff to take a look at. So I really appreciate it. But yeah, I knew about this company before. I'd seen them a lot on Instagram. They've got a pretty cool social networking campaign. You know, you can ask them questions even about their yo-yos or about yo-yos that aren't theirs, and they're always really, really nice about like telling you the pros and cons and telling you what's good or giving you recommendations if you're looking for something else. So it's a pretty cool company. I didn't know anything about the Symphony before I received it. I also received it with the Yo-Yo Officer and Yoyozhiriz Aether. A little video on this will be coming soon. But yeah, I didn't really know what to expect from the Symphony at first, so let's go ahead and get into playability. Alright, so the Symphony is a really fun yo-yo. It's super, super wide, as I mentioned in the first part. It's really, really wide, which is going to make string tricks extremely easy. All your string play is really easy to achieve. And tricks where you have a little bit more risk trying to hit the string, Eli hops, black hops, stuff like that, are just a total breeze because this thing is so wide, it feels like almost you can't miss. It's like a cheat code for string tricks. I really love the width of this yo-yo. I'm not always the biggest fan of wide yo-yos, but because I find that when they're designed just to be wide, that's not always the best design choice. But something about this, it's just extremely appealing, and it really, really aids with string play tricks. The weight is up, I think, around 66, 67, which is a little bit heavy for me, but I find that it's not so bad on this. It feels like it can be pushed, but I'm not really at the point where I can push it yet. There's a video that Yoyozhiriz posted recently promoting the Symphony where you can see a lot more speed play being implemented, and I've heard a couple people say that they use it for speed. I'm definitely not one of those people. I'm not a speed player, and also heavier yo-yos I have a little bit more trouble pushing. That being said, this feels very, very deliberate. It feels like it's under control. I like the weight of it. I like the balance of it. I don't ever feel like it's out of control. But I do feel like if I put in a little bit more effort and I don't know, maybe I need to lift more weights or something, I feel like I could really push this yo-yo a lot faster. It doesn't feel like it's hesitant or anything like that. It feels like it's more like waiting to be pushed, if that makes any sense. The grinds on this are fantastic. Because of this nice W shape and because it's not a straight line here, because it's slightly sloped, it's extremely easy to get your finger in here, and it has some very, very nice long finger grinds because of the matte finish on this yo-yo. Finger spins are also good, which I didn't really expect because there's not really a lot of space in here, which is what I thought initially, but actually it's a very open cup. The cup is deep, but the gradient is not so severe, so it's not like a bucket cup. You can actually land it on the edge here and it'll kind of go around, and then once you hit the center, you're ready to bind it. And because of the response on this thing, it's really easy to get it back from a bind as well. So it's not the best finger spinner, but the nubbin doesn't seem to get in the way and the engravings don't really bother it either. Speaking of the response, this thing's response is really nice, and I always think that's a little iffy when you have a yo-yo that is a little bit on the heavier side or it has a little bit of a wider gap, because I think you need a little bit better response to make contact with the string. But I find that on the Symphony it's not a problem at all, and it has a really satisfying ping to it. I say that all the time. I love yo-yos that do that. This is one of the yo-yos that does that. It just feels really high quality. I've been really impressed with the Symphony. Like I said, at first I didn't really know what to think of it. Seen the really, really nice colorways on Instagram, and I just gotta say I'm so happy I got this one because it's gorgeous. But yeah, it feels extremely high quality, and I think this retails for around $40, $45, right around there. And that feels like kind of a steal for what this is. It feels like it could be a yo-yo that they charge 60 or 70 for. It's really, really nice. It feels really high quality. It plays in just about every way that you'd want. Yeah, I really like the yo-yo. So in conclusion, it's cool that it's, you know, a nice wide yo-yo. It's a little bit on the heavy side, but not too heavy. Does your grinds, does your finger spins. I do like the colorway. I think it's cool that it also can finger spin. It's got a really nice response, and just everything about it. It feels really reliable. It's got good stability. And we gotta talk about how smooth this thing is. It is insanely smooth. This and the Aether, both the yo-yos that I got in the package from Yoyozhiriz, are super, super smooth. This thing is almost completely dead smooth. And it is a budget yo-yo, so it's kind of wild that this thing is just so high quality. It feels so amazing, and it's also just dead smooth. And the Aether is the same way. I love it when companies like this, like independent companies that are doing their best to get yo-yos out there, like really put the care in and make like yo-yos that feel extremely high quality. And it's awesome because this thing only costs you about 40 bucks, but it's smoother than some $100, $150 yo-yos I've played. So like, good on you, Yoyozhiriz, for like taking the care and making yo-yos that feel good and play so butter smooth. So this yo-yo is spinning really smooth and really quiet. But when I first got it, the spin times were pretty limited, and I wasn't sure what that was. I wasn't sure if it was due to the design or due to the bearing being over-lubed or something like that, because it was extremely quiet and extremely smooth. And the more I've played it, the spin times are getting a lot better. So I'm figuring it was just the bearing being over-lubed. I haven't cleaned it or anything, I've just played the crap out of it. So if you do get this yo-yo and you feel like the spin times aren't what they should be, just play through and you're gonna have no problem. Now it's got great spin times, I haven't had any problem with that, and it's actually still quiet and smooth. So I think I've kind of hit the perfect balance of lubrication in the bearing right now. I love the look of this thing. Not only do I like the W shape, I like how it's kind of flared out, but I love this colorway. You guys know I'm a sucker for green. I love green with the black and the green and yellow kind of bluish splash. It's really beautiful to look at. The design of it, I love that the W shape is flared out. It's really comfortable. It doesn't have that sharp line that a lot of W shapes have. It really feels ergonomic. As well as the shape, I think this is one of those yo-yos that kind of is reconvincing me again that W's are pretty great. I kind of go back and forth on W's. Sometimes I'm for them, sometimes I'm against them. And recently I haven't played any W's. And when I first got this, I was like, oh, it's a W shape. I didn't really realize that. This has brought me right back around to like, yeah, W shapes are awesome. I like the weight of it. Like I said, I feel like I could push it if I had a little bit more power, if I was a little bit more bold or ambitious. But as it is, I kind of like that it has the ability to be pushed, but it's very like deliberate and flowy, and I like that I can kind of like let it float around. It feels like one of those really chill yo-yos. Like, it's sort of like a dude in slippers with shorts and a Hawaiian shirt driving a sports car. It's like this kind of really casual thing inside a really sporty thing. It's kind of like this really like casual core, but on the outside it's like this sporty, performance-y kind of shell. So I like that it kind of has the best of both worlds. It grinds really fantastically. The finger spins are pretty good, but the finger grinds are really where it's at with this yo-yo. The name, I love the name. I'm actually a really musical person. Part of my university schooling was in music, reading music and stuff like that. So I love the name Symphony. I don't know, it just resonates with me. Get it? Resonates. And the price, like I said, this is about $44.99, I think. It's a really good price for this. I feel like it hits right in the center of that budget zone, and there's not a lot of things that are this shape or this width right now with this kind of really cool colorway, right in the middle of that like $40 to $60 range. I honestly don't have any cons for this. I've really liked the Symphony, but there are a few things that might kind of go either way for a person depending on what kind of person you are. You know, I was gonna say this was a con before, but I don't really think it is, because I was gonna say if you're not really into W shapes, then you may wanna avoid this, but actually I feel the opposite after having played this a long time, because I feel like it convinced me to like W shapes because it has that nice slope, and because it's so wide, I feel like it kind of fixes the things I don't like about W shapes. If you're not a huge fan of wide yo-yos, you may have a problem getting used to this. It is really big in the hand, but I like that. I have big hands, I like wider yo-yos, I like them more and more. I like them when they're designed well, so I really enjoyed the width of this thing. And one thing, like I mentioned, just break it in. Make sure you don't just say, oh, the spin times are crap, and sell it or trade it away. If you do pick it up and you do feel like the spin times aren't as long as you want, give it some time. Play it a lot, do some gyro flops to get the oil distributed through the bearing, do all that stuff. Just play the crap out of it, and I think eventually the spin times will really get a lot better for you. Alright, boys and girls, thank you so much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave me a like, a comment, a subscription. I'd really appreciate it. I'm going to be doing a giveaway soon, so please make sure you keep an eye on the TKY YouTube channel here. I'm not going to say what I'm giving away yet, but people who have been watching my channel over the last couple weeks, you probably know what it is. As far as this channel is concerned, it's probably going to be one of the biggest and coolest giveaways I'll do in a long time, so you're going to want to stay tuned and find out what that is. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, have a nice day, and sayonara.